with Jeff Sneider.
What's the deal with Adam Sandler and Netflix? Late Wednesday night, the media giant announced it will be the exclusive home of 4 movies starring and produced by the A-list funny man, which comes on the heels of its deal with the Weinstein Company for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2, which should have but does not star Adam Sandler. Now, the name of the game these days is original content, an area that Netflix has had great success with recently, between House of Cards and Arrested Development. That success is poised to continue with several upcoming series centered around Marvel superheroes, such as Daredevil and Luke Cage. Netflix also acquired the documentary The Square, which ended up with an Oscar nomination last year. Now, 25 years ago, HBO was in a similar position. Once known for airing the biggest movies after their theatrical runs, the network began to diversify and invest in its own original content, which is why HBO is where it is today. Now, while HBO is currently busy making prestige TV movies aimed at Emmy voters, Netflix is courting the average consumer. The type of person who will gladly plunk down $10 or more to see the new Adam Sandler vehicle. So after elbowing a place for itself at the TV table, that's why you're starting to see Netflix put the movie business in its crosshairs. There are inefficiencies in the movie business, and Netflix is well positioned to exploit and take advantage of them while improving the creative process along the way. So where does Adam Sandler fit into Netflix's ambitious master plan for world domination? Well, world is the key word there. This deal is about enhancing Netflix's global footprint and using a proven A-list movie star to do it. I doubt that these movies are going to be released in US theaters, but I expect that Netflix is going to find a way to distribute them overseas, at least in the countries where the service is available. Now, should Sandler or his fans be worried that these 4 films aren't going to receive a US theatrical release? Not really. Why would us fans want to pay for 5 movie tickets or whatever when I can stay home with my whole family and enjoy his latest from the comfort of my own living room? It's not like the quality level is going to be that much different. My personal hunch is that Sandler's Netflix movies are going to be budgeted between $10 million and $40 million, and he'll call in a few favors from friends who are eager to be involved in the new media movement. The more high-concept ideas, I think, are going to stay at Sony, where Sandler has a non-exclusive deal that provides significant overhead for his production company, Happy Madison. I think that Sandler's Sony output is going to be bigger movies, more spectacle-driven films a la Pixels and the upcoming Candyland. Those movies are too big for Netflix, but they fit what Sony is trying to do, which is to create an event that has to be seen on the big screen. I think you're going to see Sandler do 1 big movie a year for Sony, including his budding animation franchise Hotel Transylvania, and maybe 1 smaller movie a year for Netflix, which is going to target his core constituency. The Netflix movies are going to allow him to indulge in both, his inner man-child and these goofy comedies that appeal to all ages, as well as do more crass R-rated comedies aimed at young men, and maybe one of the 4 will end up being a drama that allows him to stretch his acting muscles a la Punch Drunk Love and Jason Reitman's Men, Women, and Children. Sandler comes from a generation, with like Mike Myers and Jim Carrey. In the same way that those guys aren't the stars that they once were, neither is Sandler. But that's why I'm glad that he's pushing himself with films like Men, Women, and Children and, The Cobbler, which was up at Toronto. He knows as well as we do that at 48 years old, he cannot keep on playing the stunted adolescent forever. Another thing that's going to be really interesting to see is which directors Sandler recruits for his Netflix experiment. Will it be his usual stable of, Frank Karachi, Dennis Dugan? Is he going to call in some favors from, auteurs who are excited by the prospect of more creative freedom at Netflix, which is going to own all the rights to these movies? That means that they're going to be cashing in on DVD sales and ancillary revenue from cable TV deals. I mean, Netflix has already invested $100 million in 26 episodes of House of Cards, which averages out to roughly $4.5 million an episode. By that math, a 2-hour Sandler movie would cost $9 million, which is, a bargain, although it's not entirely realistic. That math doesn't necessarily translate. Netflix is making strong moves, but the movie business as a whole is not really going to be affected, at least not yet. Right now, between Sandler and the Weinstein Company, Netflix, they're putting on a show for Wall Street and reassuring stockholders that even if every studio pulls its movie library from the streaming service, the company is still going to be able to provide fresh content to subscribers. Netflix didn't quite hit a hole in one here, but they are on the green. They're very close. They just need to tap it in. Kind of like Happy Gilmore. This has been What's the Deal with Jeff Sneider. Thanks for listening to every damn word I have to say. I'm off to go chase a penguin because it's Nudie Magazine Day. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheInSneider, and thanks for reading TheWrap.com.
What's the deal with Jeff Sneider?